Okay, coronavirus. Everybody's talking about coronavirus. Well, viruses come in families. So there's a herpes families. There's a coronavirus family. There's an influenza family of viruses. And so coronaviruses are generally considered to be animal viruses. When you look a little deeper, you find coronaviruses inhabit parasites that are in the bodies of animals. So they're animals. Sometimes you may get a human infection with coronavirus. That's somewhat rare. Some of the common colds that people have had are due to coronaviruses. Generally speaking, they have not proven to be extremely fatal. However, what we're dealing with now, the novel coronavirus, COVID-20, this is not a natural coronavirus. This is a genetically engineered, weaponized version of coronavirus that has been married to 4 genes from HIV and probably other genes from perhaps other viral pathogens. Dr. Lieber of Harvard University, the chief biomolecular scientist at Harvard University, dug up some frozen bodies from the tundra in Alaska. This was maybe 3 or 4 years ago, to investigate what killed them during the Spanish flu epidemic. He isolated that virus from 100 years ago and resurrected it, you could say. But found out that because of the frozen conditions over time, the virus had lost its infectivity. You may question, why would somebody dig up a virus that killed over 100 million people and brought an end to World War I? Well, you would have to ask Dr. Lieber that. But he did that, and then when the infectivity was not what he wanted, then he paired it with 4 genes from HIV and perhaps some other things. And now you have a highly contagious coronavirus that is infecting human beings. And now, so you could say that this coronavirus 2020 is the descendant of the MERS virus, the Middle Eastern respiratory virus that killed many people in the Middle East, and the SARS virus that I think that goes back to 2003, 2004, that killed many, many people. The SARS virus was the first indication to the Chinese people that someone was out to get them. The SARS virus was genetically engineered to infect Asian people. Bill Gates, along with Dr. Lieber and Johns Hopkins University in October of 2019, conducted a simulation, computer simulation of a coronavirus outbreak, and they determined through computer simulations that such an outbreak would lead to the death of 65 million people. So what is it all for? I think it's for the purpose of slowing down the growth of China as a dominant economic, political, and economic power in the world. If it's not really a bioweapon, it certainly has taken the US-China trade war to another level. Trade war has become biological warfare, and people are being targeted with their lives. The trade war, of course, was the controversy with a company called Huawei, the leaders in 5G technology. The center of 5G technology is China, and the center of 5G technology in China is Wuhan City. And when they turned on or switched on the most potent 5G network in the world in Wuhan City, that's when the epidemic broke out. It is susceptible to electronic frequencies. Viruses can be activated by 5G 60 cycle frequency radiation that was turned on in Wuhan City that just coincidentally happened at the same time as a viral outbreak. mRNA is not a vaccine. And if you don't want to take my word for it, I heard what you said, do your own research. Well, go to the Moderna website. The CEO of Moderna boasts about the fact that the mRNA vaccine is actually an operating system, such as you would put in your computer
only he wants to put his operating system in you.
Right? It's saying there's microchips in it. This is a magnet, not altered in any way. I got it from Vegas. There's nanochips in it.
The body to produce the S protein, the spike protein. So that's why people test positive for HIV. The next vaccine, the second shot, that's going to give you the M protein. And then the third shot is the N protein. And then I think there's another one, there's a P protein. And so by the time you get your fourth shot, you see, your body will be making all four proteins that make up the COVID-19 virus. So you will literally become a viral making factory. Now, if you think about that, if every cell in your body is a disease producing cell, that would be the epitome of autoimmune diseases, where your immune system would literally be attacking every single cell in your body. So if you could just imagine it. Just look at your zombie movies. You think that's way out. Now he's going way out. No, okay. Go to your computer right now to the CDC website. Type in zombie. You think I'm making it up. You think I'm crazy. Then you explain to me why the CDC has an emergency program for the coming zombie apocalypse. And then they have a whole program of what they're going to do to handle the millions of zombies that are going to suddenly descend on America. Well, where are you going to get all these zombies from? Hey, it's called mRNA vaccine. That's not really a vaccine. What is it? It's a weapon of mass destruction for population control. And it's going to drive you mad. So the Bible says, fear not the one who can kill the body. Fear the one who can kill the soul. So that's what you're dealing with.
Why is the vaccine not safe in your view?
Well, number one, it violates the first law of medicine. The first law of medicine that every doctor is sworn to uphold is, first, do no harm. That's why you don't do unnecessary procedures, even if they're safe, because there's always the chance that you're going to do some harm. So when you look at the mRNA vaccine and the other vaccines, they do a whole lot of harm. According to the CDC, as of the end of last week, there were more than 2,000 deaths within 48 hours of the administration of the vaccine. 17,000 severe injuries from the vaccine. Similar numbers from Europe, thousands of deaths. I think over 4. After you get the vaccine, they say you can still get the virus.
Not gonna take no medicine that you, the killers of all of us, remember the syphilis experiment? Remember what they did to the Native Americans?
See, so again, look how foolish that sounds. Why did I get vaccinated if I'm going to still get infected and I still have to be in lockdown and I still have to wear a mask? Why did I get the vaccine?
Do you know which one most effectively delivers Bill Gates' brain-controlling microchip?
Well, there are a couple. One microchip from me and one microchip from Bill. It depends which one.
Good. I can't wait to be turned into your robot army.
It's government policy to reduce the population of the earth by 2 to 3 billion people. You know that, right?
Drop jelly bean, peyote.
Go to hell!
Because the death plan is in motion. What is the death plan? You say, well, black folks are the most prone to the COVID virus. Why is that? Because of the comorbidity conditions, diabetes, heart failure, obesity. Name all the comorbidity problems, we lead in that. Well, let me ask you this. How did we get in this condition? Did you know that there's food that they prepare for you and me in the hood, that they kill us by zip code? When they know your zip code, they send the worst food in for us to consume. Flint, Michigan is not an accident. Yes, sir. They're killing us through the water. You're a young man and have erectile dysfunction. I'm not meaning to be vulgar, but our old folks died with the ability to make a baby. Yes, right. You need pills. You're already on death row and don't even know it. So now you're a perfect host.
The state narrative answer is that you won't get as severe a case of COVID. You won't end up hospitalized.
No one knows what it means, but it's provocative.
It's nice.
Gets the people going.
It's
That's enough! Why do you guys keep doing that?
What do you say to that?
Record. Look at the number of people who did get the vaccine who are dead. The CDC admits that 2,000 people are dead because they got the vaccine. Now, is that a severe case of COVID-19 or what? Could anything that COVID-19 do to you be worse than being dead?
If I play angel's advocate with you here, so there's some collateral damage with any new thing. Some people are just not going to be able to handle it well, but the vast majority of people, they'll be fine with the vaccine.
Well, of course, but then you're overlooking, or they're overlooking, the natural history of COVID-19 infection. What is the recovery rate? Say, in other words, suppose you had 100 people in the general population, just anybody, Joe Public, and say 100 people came down with COVID-19 infection. Out of 100 people, how many of them would die?
The death rate is going left and right.
No. These are known facts and figures now. I'm not making stuff up. Not one. Because the recovery rate is something like 98.7%. So maybe out of 100 people, if they came down with COVID-19 with no treatment at all, maybe 1 or 2 would die. So the recovery rate by itself is over 98%. But more people die from the yearly flu than die from COVID-19. More people die from the common cold than died from COVID-19. So what's the big fuss about? There's another agenda. Look at the fraud that's involved. And I'll try to be very quick. How does anybody find out that they're COVID-19 infected? They get a test. Well, the PCR test was invented by a man who won the Nobel Prize in medicine for his invention. And according to him, the PCR test was never intended as a diagnostic tool for clinical medicine. It was meant and intended for research purposes only in a laboratory.
What is it about humanity that wants to go to all the details and stuff and listen? These guys like Fauci get up there and start talking. He doesn't know anything really about anything, and I'd say that to his face. Nothing. The man thinks you can take a blood sample and stick it in an electron microscope, and if it's got a virus in there, you'll know it. He doesn't understand electron microscopy, and he doesn't understand medicine. He should not be in a position like he's in. Most of those guys up there on the top are just total administrative people, and they don't know anything about what's going on the bottom. You know, those guys have got an agenda, which is not what we would like them to have, being that we pay for them to take care of our health in some way. They've got a personal kind of agenda. They make up their own rules as they go. They change them when they want to, and they smugly, like Tony Fauci, does not mind going on television in front of the people who pay his salary and lie directly into the camera. You can't expect the sheep to really respect the best and the brightest. They don't know the difference, really. I mean, I like humans. Don't get me wrong, but basically, the vast majority of them do not possess the ability to judge who is and who isn't a really good scientist. I mean, that's a problem. That's a main problem, actually, with science, I'd say, in this century, because science is being judged by people. Funding is being done by people who don't understand it. Okay, who do we trust? Fauci? Fauci doesn't know enough to, you know. If Fauci wants to get on television with somebody who knows a little bit about this stuff and debate him, he could easily do it, because he's been asked.
This is Dr. Mullis you're speaking of.
Yes. And so Dr. Fauci admitted around this time last year, in April last year, he admitted that the test that they were using had a 75% false positive rate. And then later on, some of the other tests that came online, they had a false negative rate as great as 40%. A court in Portugal overruled some detention orders or quarantine orders on some tourists because the court, when they looked at the stats, they said, well, these tests have an unreliability rate of 94%. So now my next question, besides who needs a vaccine when you already have a perfect preventative, my next question would be, is a test that is 94% unreliable, how could you call that a test? That's not a test. How could a test be so unreliable and be considered a test? It must have some other purpose. But it's not a test.
What the fuck? And of course, who's the great programmer? Who has bestowed upon himself the title of the grand programmer of humanity? Well, it's Bill Gates himself.
Moderna vaccines sound concerning. We looked. After the second dose, at least 80% of participants experienced a systemic side effect, ranging from severe chills to fevers. So, are these vaccines safe?
Well, the FDA, not being pressured, will look hard at that. The FDA is the gold standard of regulators. And their current guidance on this, if they stick with that, is very, very appropriate.
What? Fight back, nigga! Fight back, nigga! Fight back! Fight back!
If you tested positive, you couldn't believe it because 75% false positive rate. If you tested negative, you can't believe it because there's a 40% false negative rate. It's not a test. What is it? Well, we found out that the vaccine is not a vaccine. It's actually an operating system. They call it a vaccine, but then they admit when you read between the lines, oh, it's not really a vaccine. It doesn't really prevent anything. Well, then what is it really? And if the test is not really a test, what is it really? Well, it's the introduction of transhuman technology. It's the programming of the wetware. It's the insertion of electronics into the human being. So it can be controlled remotely, just like people control their television sets remotely with a remote control unit. So now you can control people electronically from satellites. Notice that Elon Musk he launches about 1,000 satellites a week to create this celestial grid network. You have high-flying drones that emit a 5G signal that covers, they have a footprint of 124 square miles.
Brothers and sisters, do you believe that Satan is concerned about vaccinating you about this thing here?
so they can light up a whole city or a whole zip code, a whole neighborhood of people that they don't like. They can light it up and spark an epidemic outbreak in that specific targeted area. And you see, that's the other reason for the social distancing. See, social distancing, you have to be 6 feet apart. Well, the science shows that if I cough or sneeze, the COVID virus travels 29 feet and lingers in the air for about 2 hours. So now what does social distancing 6 feet, what does it have to do with the COVID virus? Nothing. It has to do with the technology.
You trust him. After all that he's done to destroy us, you trust him. And your trust is sickening because you love your enemy and you hate yourself and your friend. How could you allow him to stick a needle into you saying he's helping you? Well, we have black people that are in the trials. They're in this part and that part, and they're telling us it's okay. There are things that he brings you right into and blinds you at the same time because he lets you see what he wants you to see, and he lets you know what he wants you to know, and he keeps you blind to the thing that he doesn't want you to know because he does not want you to warn your people against his plot.
What did Bill Gates say was in the vaccine? He said it was a tracking system. Okay? So in order to track you individually, I have to be able to tell you from me or from her or from him. Well, the satellites and the drones that are the scanners, they can't detect the difference between two people if they're closer than 6 feet to one another. The signals merge, and they can't tell one from the other. And so this is how they're going to monitor the population. You see, the people who got the vaccine will give out a vaccine signal. The people who didn't get a vaccine won't have the same signal. So that's how they'll be able to determine who can get on a plane, who can come into the bank, who can go grocery shopping, who can travel to another state, who can go to school, who can come into the hospital. See? That's social control, maximum Big Brother social control.
Truth. None of you can say to me that I'm a liar. No, you know darn well you ain't never caught me in a lie. Right. But that daggone devil that you listening to, he's a liar from the beginning to the end. So the Bible say, if Satan cast out Satan, how can his kingdom stand?
Very passionate about letting people know what's in these vaccines and why you must refuse no matter what, because these vaccines are deadly. Vaccine is either a medicine, it's classified as a medicine, but by definition, a vaccine is a molecule that's injected into your body that generates an antibody. Right. That by definition is what a vaccine is, and this does that. The problem is that the antibodies that it generates are going to be deadly, and it's going to take somewhere between 4 months and maybe 14 months before we see the full ravage of what's going to happen
to friends and loved ones I know who have received the vaccination. And we also have reports of doctors dying. We have reports here even locally at our local hospital. People getting the vaccination, and within 20, 40 minutes they stroke out. The same thing in Sacramento, doctors stroked out.
It's only the beginning. Look at how we've been doing these vaccinations in America for a month. And in 30 days, we have over 40,000 adverse events reported to the Vaccine Adverse Event Database. I got the document dropped to me yesterday. It's 172 pages long. We have over 40,000 adverse events. We have over 3,100 cases of anaphylactic shock. We have over 5,000 neurological reactions, which can range from headaches to numbness and paresthesias, to headaches, to dizziness, to vertigo, to feeling like you can't feel your hands or your feet, in 30 days. Now, and it's been estimated that less than 10% of adverse reactions that actually occur are reported to VAERS. Can you think of one single product in any industry, for as long as products have been made on the planet, that within 30 days we have 40,000 people complaining of side effects that not only is still on the market, but is full court press, and we've got telling us how great they are for getting their vaccine. And we're offering people $500 if they will just get their vaccine. And we've got nurses and doctors going, I got the vaccine, I got the vaccine. Well, they're not going to be so happy dancing, folks, when they start to get their Bell's palsy, when they start to get their neuropathies, when they get their cardiac arrhythmias, when they get their ITP, their autoimmune reactions that causes them to die of a blood disorder. They're not going to be so happy.
Did you know that corporate America has bought up tens of thousands of acres of land? And do you know that they've made so many atomic weapons that the residue of the atomic weapons they have put into steel drums and buried it in the ocean? 30 years ago in the Sudan, the president was called Numeri, and he got a deal with America to take some of the drums and bury it in the sand, and they would get money. Did you hear me? Now the drums are being compromised by the power of water. So this stuff is escaping into the water, poisoning the food that we get from the water. And he's got now residue, they call it toxic waste. Did you know that they've put toxic waste that is from the nuclear waste over large tracts of land? Do you know that they're growing food under soil that is toxic, poison with nuclear stuff? Did you know that the food that you're eating is killing you? Did you know that the water that you're drinking is killing you? You like to eat fast food? Fast food is death food. You can't work here. Well, hell, that's all you had when they brought us here to work. But you got nothing for it. So now you got a little job. But you're going to have to learn to walk away from something that's killing you and do something for yourself. You don't know. I mean, you trust so much your enemy, and you're so fearful of a man that will tell you the truth. It's gonna get worse. And it's gonna get worse.
Nakushite